What's up, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube? Boogie988 coming at you live once again through the power of the internet. And tonight, I want to talk to you about a very controversial topic, one that I think is going to piss a lot of people off. Whether you're a men's right activist or a feminist or anywhere in between, I think I'm going to really upset a few people. But I hope you bear with me and make it to the end of the video because I promise you my point is very good and it's a point you probably should hear. Okay? But tonight I want to talk to you about the girl gamer. The girl gamer. I'm a girl gamer. We're going to talk about that for a little while. And I'll tell you right now, I'm speaking from a place of absolute ignorance. I'm a 39-year-old man. I grew up in the South. I've been told by people in my life that I am misogynistic, that I'm an abuser, that I'm an enforcer of the patriarchy. I've been called all kinds of stuff. I've been told that the opinions that I voice here on YouTube have been harmful and shitty, and all of that's probably true. So when I talk about this topic, I want to let you know right now that I am dumb as a bag of rocks when it comes to this topic. But I still think my opinion is valid, and I still think you should hear it. Now, last night I saw a video called Nothing to Prove, and it's here on YouTube, and I'm going to link to it here and below. And it lists a host of men and women holding up signs talking about the issue of women in geek culture. And when I say geek culture, I mean nerdy culture, gaming culture, comic books, anime. You know what I'm talking about, okay? And from here on out, I'm going to refer to it as geek culture, though I may use specific examples, okay? When I say geek, I mean that, okay? The kind of person that shows up at a convention or a magic tournament or a role-playing session or LARPs out in the woods or has a room dedicated to anime, that's the person I'm talking about, okay? And these people are holding up signs explaining that they are constantly challenged because of their gender by men who are defensive about the territory that they feel these women are encroaching on. And all of this stems from the phenomenon of, and I use this cliche, girl gamer. A girl who will pretend to be more enthusiastic about games or about gaming or about a nerdy subculture for the purposes of attention. And I want to tell you, absolutely, those women exist. And if that makes you upset at me, that's fine. If you're mad right now, if you're typing a rude comment, bear with me. Please hear the rest of my opinion. But that person exists. The same way, by the way, I have male and female friends who think they're better at the card game that I like to play, Magic the Gathering, or think they're better at being athletic when, you know, or maybe they're a little heavier than they think, or they're a little skinnier than they think, or maybe they pretend to be more pious and religious than they are. It is a human phenomenon, not a female one, but a human phenomenon to be pompous and arrogant and delusional, self-delusional, to believe that you are something you're not. And so, absolutely, there are women out there who have thought they were, you know, that's absolutely true. But how many were there? How many are there? Would you say 1 in 10? I wouldn't. What about 1 in 100? What about 1 in 1,000? Let's go with that. That's a good number, and it might even be true. What if 1 out of 1,000 women who are coming into the geek culture now, or coming out of the geek closet and declaring their love for Star Trek and anime and World of Warcraft and video games, playing Call of Duty, what if 1 out of 1,000 are faking it and making posts about it on Facebook and Twitter? They sound stupid because don't even know what they're talking about. Are you really going to treat the other 999 nerds and geeks like shit? Haven't we been treated like shit enough? Because I'll tell you something, I think it's amazing that someone wants to come out as a nerd. I think it's amazing somebody wants to come out as a geek, because when I was growing up, admitting that you were a gamer, admitting that you were a geek, admitting that you were a nerd is something that would get you beat up in the high school locker room. So times have changed so phenomenally much, I can't believe somebody would wear that like a badge of honor. And I think it's great that they do. I think it's phenomenal. But we are holding on to this defensive mechanism of attacking these girls because every so often a girl fakes it. And in my lifetime, I've met 0 girls who faked it, by the way. But I'm sure they're out there. They've got to be out there, okay? Because it's a human phenomenon to be self-delusional. But we defend our territory. We defend the thing that we love. We defend gaming, or we defend comic books or cosplaying. We defend it because we're passionate about it. That's what makes you a geek. That's the definition of a geek, by the way. It's someone who's passionate about nerdy things. And maybe you can even be passionate about non-nerdy things. Maybe you're really, really into sports. That makes you a sports geek. Maybe you're really, really into music, so you're a music geek. Okay? And I'm a gaming geek. Okay? I love all kinds, but I'm a geek and I'm passionate about it. And of course I'm defensive about it because I love it. And when you meet someone else, you've met someone else who loves the same thing you do. When you meet someone who, at that convention, at that role-playing session, you see him tweeting about whatever game, why would you challenge that person? Would you want to be challenged on your knowledge? Would you want to be challenged on your level of dedication? Because why? You want to protect yourself from that 1 in 10? 1 in 100? 1 in 1,000? Because if you're doing that, I hate to be the one to tell you, but you're being an asshole. And in my lifetime, I have met 0 women who fake enthusiasm for geeky things, but I have met an uncountable number of assholes through gaming and through geek culture. And it's, maybe it's not entirely our fault. Maybe we don't really know what we're doing, and maybe the women are a little defensive, and maybe the men are a little defensive. But I've got a solution to all of that. As complicated as that issue is, and it's a very simple rule to live by. Treat others the way you want to be treated. And it doesn't matter if you're we're talking about a good-looking girl or a good-looking guy. We don't care if we're talking about a fat neck beard like me. It doesn't matter whether or not we're talking about a kid in a wheelchair or a kid with disabilities, or we're talking about the guy who forgot to shower before he showed up to the tournament or to the convention, or the kid's socially awkward, or the kid with social anxiety. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Shape, size, color, creed, gender. Doesn't matter. The only thing better than loving something as much as you love gaming or magic or anime or card games or whatever. The only thing better than loving something like that is loving it with other people. And if you've never experienced that, you need to. If you've never stood on a convention room floor surrounded by cosplayers, if you've never been in a viewing room full of 90 people watching anime, if you've never been in a Magic tournament with 200 other players, if you've never experienced that, you need to open up to it. You need to welcome that. And when you meet a fellow geek, male or female, accept them for face value. Accept them for who they are. Treat others the way you want to be treated. And that's how you'd want to be treated. With love and kindness and respect. And let that love and passion for whatever it is flow through both of you. And that's being a geek. That's what it should be. Not defensive assholes. I don't know. It seems like such a simple thing. And I have to remind you, I'm speaking from a place of ignorance. Maybe I'm oversimplifying it, or maybe I'm overcomplicating it. But the bottom line is that treat others the way you want to be treated. Kindness, love, respect. These are wonderful things.